All right, so today if you're ready to start your background, and it has to have a color theme, okay? So for your background, you're going to start from your vanishing point. So hopefully you still have your vanishing point on your paper, okay? And then I'm going to show you the easiest way is to go to the corners, but you don't have to do it that way. And your vanishing point's probably not in the middle, and that's fine too. And you guys have a ton of shapes. So I'm showing you without any shapes how to do your background, but you're going to be using a ruler and kind of jumping over your shapes as you divide your background, so you're not drawing lines going through your shapes, okay? So I'm going to hold my ruler at my vanishing point, and like I said, the easiest way is to just go to your corners. So if you're wanting something simple, don't really want to think about it too much, this is what I would do, is just vanish from your vanishing point to your four corners, just like that. So that is the most simple way to divide your background. Please use a ruler, okay? We want straight lines, unless I do have another way to divide it that I call a pinwheel. Okay, so the pinwheel is just you won't have to use a ruler for it, but you're just gonna like have a curved line, which is a little tricky, like I said, with all your shapes in the way. And then you just kind of keep repeating this curve all the way around, kind of like a spiral, or like I said, a pinwheel. See, I'm having a hard time and I don't even have shapes in the way. So, and then it's up to you how many times you divide it, how many pinwheels. You can use black in your background. So, for instance, maybe you use all colors, different colors inside of the pinwheel, and then you trace it with black, might be an option. Another really simple way to divide your background, I call it a starburst. So first you would divide to your corners, then you can divide these in half. Pencil is not working very well, here we go. Divide that in half, and then you can keep dividing. So that's kind of a simple version of a starburst, but I could go in and start dividing it even more. And your divisions don't have to be equal. Okay, so if I wanted to, maybe on this one, I want to make it unequal. So I'm trying to make kind of like a skinnier one and a bigger one. See? Some people base off, like if they have shapes kind of in this zone that they're wanting to focus on, then they'll like divide it around their shapes. That's another option. Some people also like to plan out their colors. So after they've divided like this, they'll sit there and be like, okay, I want blue here, I want my purple to go here, then I want green, and then I want the pattern to repeat. You don't have to do that, but some people like to plan it like that. I know the letters are backwards, don't worry about that. But it is kind of nice to sit there, even if once you do get your background divided however you want, to kind of be like, okay, I want red to go here, or I want yellow to be in that one, based on what your shapes are. All right, let me show you some more. That's just a couple. Okay, another one would be, again, I'm just going to go pretend my vanishing point's in the middle here. Just go to my four corners. This one I call railroad tracks. I don't know why I come up with names, I just name them. But it reminds me of railroad tracks. So you start off, the railroad tracks are really close together. So I'm just drawing these horizontal lines. And then as I get further away, they're going to start to get further apart. Because remember, when we're vanishing something, that's what happens, is it gets closer together, close to our vanishing point, further apart as we go further away. So I have like railroad tracks is what it reminds me of. You could repeat it and have it be like on the ceiling too, so it looks kind of like a cool tunnel effect. All right, so like that. And then if I wanted to, I could leave these sides solid like that, or I could maybe over here I want to have a starburst kind of happen on this side. I've had a few students the last couple years come up with their own way to divide backgrounds. So if you have a newer, different way to divide your background, let me know. It's very possible you can probably do it. I always like new creative ideas. That did not work like that. All right. All right, let me show you this one. This one I'm going to show you next can be tricky. It's not impossible. It's really hard to do with your shapes in the way. But what you're going to do, so again, you go to your corners, and then what I'm going to make it be like a box or tunnel. The reason why this is hard is because sometimes we can't get, I'm going to show you, the lines don't quite match up. And then when you have shapes in front of that, sometimes it's even harder to get them to match up. So this one is fun to do, but it's tricky because I've got to get these corners to match up. So let me try again here. So if you do this one, you might need a little help from me, which is a-okay. So see how it was just hard for me to get those corners to match up, and then I could draw again, getting further away. And then if I wanted to, I don't even need to have these, now that I have these two squares, so it kind of looks like I'm vanishing into a tunnel, I could erase these lines if I really wanted to. I didn't have to have them in there. So it could just look like kind of squares kind of getting bigger to smaller. And you might have like a itty bitty square here in the middle. Like that. Alright, another thing you could do, so for my railroad tracks, I could turn it this way and turn them into like brick walls. And that's simply just kind of dividing these, making them look kind of like bricks. Something like that. And then I could do the same thing on the other side, or I don't have to. It's really up to you. I guess I would need to put a few more lines here too. But you could do something like that too. All right, this next one I call a spider web. I think you've seen it on a couple examples I've shown you. But again, the way you start it is you go to your four corners. I bet you're noticing a pattern here. And you don't, like I say, go to your corners. It doesn't have to be your corner. As long as you're dividing it from your vanishing point, it's up to you how you do that. But yeah, your background has to be divided. It has to have a color theme. Those are the two requirements. Okay, so for a spider web, I'm going to do it again, kind of like the starburst here. And then you don't need a ruler for this part. You kind of dip in like the letter U, and you go all the way around like so, and then you just keep carrying that. But as you go up here, you're going to start having them get further apart so that it does look like it's vanishing away. Sometimes it can be hard to get these to match back up again, but, and again, you guys have all your shapes in the way. This makes it a lot harder to do with all those shapes. I'm making it look really easy because I don't have any shapes on here. So something sort of like that. And then again, if you were going to put black in your background, maybe that's where you trace the spider web in black and then colors behind it. All right, this one is similar. It's very similar to the spider web. I call this one a ripple effect, like if you were to throw a rock or pebble into the water and you get that ripply effect. It's what it reminds me of. So once it's divided, you're going to then, kind of like the spider web, I'm going to go in, but the next one I'm going to go out. In, out. In, out, in, out. So for this one, you definitely have to have an even division for it to work. If I had odd number of divisions, it wouldn't work. I'd end up with two outs on the end there. Again, I'm going to start to get further away, but I'm just repeating, going in, And on this one going out. In, out, in, out, in, out. Do you see it? I feel like you can see it better now as far as the ripple effect goes. But the key is too for your background is that you're remembering to get bigger as you're like going further away. All right, that's all I can think of off the top of my head. So I have a few I wanted to show you that in the past students have come up with. So this was one I think we came up with last semester. So this one's using the compass, not the ruler, and just having circles gradually get bigger, kind of like a bullseye or a target. The sizes don't quite make sense on this one, but you can kind of get the idea. Another one. Okay, another one that I thought was kind of cool. She didn't want to do hers to the four corners. She just wanted to divide it into thirds, which then makes a kind of cool triangle. So that's an option too, kind of like you're vanishing inside a pyramid there. And then I had one more a couple years ago. This one was a new one. She wanted to make it look like tie-dye. So she's like, well, why don't we try wiggly lines? So the wiggles are really closer together, and then as they get further out, they kind of, the wiggles get a little more spread out. And then how did she make it look like tie-dye? I think she was using warm colors. Hold on, not seeing it. There it is. And she would have like the darkest warm color, like red, let's say, would be right here. And then it went to orange, to yellow. You know what I mean? So she kind of like faded the tie to make it kind of look tie-dye-y. That's how she did it. So, do you guys have any questions? All these papers, whenever you're ready to start your background, you're welcome to grab a piece of paper so that you can have something to look at, to refer to. But please ask for help if you need it. I'm happy to help you.